Yet his days shall be 120 years. 6:3. Okay, I knew we had talked about that. It's hard to keep all these things in order. But anyway, a man's age will be 120 years. That means that that is what God is going to do. It doesn't mean that's what happened with Noah. He didn't cut him off. He lived 350 years longer. But he's saying, this is the age that I'm ordaining for people at this time. Eventually, it went down even more. But it was 120 years. And as I said, and I think I told you guys, if I didn't, it's still interesting to hear it, is that if you take the ages of the people after the flood and you put them into a graph, one of these things, I don't know what you call it, it goes down. Anyway, the ages go from these long-aged people down to the 70, 80 years of modern man. It makes a geometric mean, something that we didn't even know until we knew how to graph things and put them into a computer. And this was, anyway, last century, in the 20th century, somebody figured this out, that it makes actually a perfect geometric mean. So there you go. It's just one of those interesting things that here in the Bible is something that we didn't know until somebody just graphed it out. So if you ever want to look at graphs of anything in the Bible, I don't care, places, dates, charts, the most comprehensive biblical graphs anywhere are done by Rose. It's called Rose Publishing or Rose Charts or Rose Graphs. R-O-S-E. Just go online and look at Bible graphs or Bible charts, Rose, and you can order them, and you will learn more. I've never, other than one small one I had to order for college, I've never ordered any, but they have more information that breaks down the Bible in a way that you can't, but you can spend a lot of money on them too, so I just want you to know. But if you want to know the Bible in a completely different way, I don't think in terms of graphs and places and charts, and they chart everything out. And it is, my hair's standing up just thinking about it, just seeing some of these things. But I never studied them because they weren't mine, and but the few that I've looked at are astonishing. The things you can learn from Rose Publishing or Rose whatever it is. Anyway, just say that for your benefit. All right, somebody start with 10, and we got 32 minutes.
This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood.
Okay, so real quickly, it says this is the account, this is the word generations, or toledat, which I talked about before, and it makes a pattern in the Hebrew. I kind of mentioned it, but anyway, it's interesting that the term generations is used by the King James Version, and it does make an interesting pattern, but I won't get into it again. Anyway, this is the account, or the generations of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, go ahead, verse 2. Japhethites? I guess. This one says the sons of Japheth. Anyway.
Gomer.
Right.
Magog.
Which is what she said. Yeah. The Magog Street over here, okay.
Madai. Javan. Tubal.
Meshech.
Oh, that's Meshach. And Tyrus.
Okay, so we have these names. Now, if you follow these names through the genealogies in the Bible, people do this. There are some people that this is what they do, is they follow genealogies, okay? I don't know, there's a term for it. And they have secular genealogists and the what? Yeah, and then we have biblical ones. But if you follow these people, they know where they are in the world today. And these names come up again, okay? Magog, Gog and Magog, comes all the way up in Revelation, but he comes up in the book of Ezekiel, okay? And these other people, Meshech is mentioned again elsewhere in the Bible, and I believe it's in Ezekiel 38. These are the people that will come against Israel very soon. So God is giving you these names now at the beginning of the Bible, saying that these people will have an effect on Israel even thousands of years later, even into our future. Our future today. Meshech, some people believe, is also, let me go there real quickly. I think it's Ezekiel 38, and I'm going to read it to you, and I'm going to tell you what some people believe. These people that follow these things. I'm sure it's Ezekiel 38 where this name is. It says, Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And these are the same names here. You've got Magog, you've got Meshech, and you've got Tubal. You've got these same names here that are mentioned in Ezekiel 38 as something that is coming probably in our lifetime. Probably in the very near future, yes. And we'll talk, we may be dead before we get to Ezekiel, but I think you guys were in the class when I talked about this before. When I started with Daniel 9, and we talked about Ezekiel 35, 36, 37, and 38, and 39, and then from there we went into Revelation. But this is something I believe will happen in our lifetime. Probably in the very, very near future, as these people are going to come against Israel, okay? Right. And this is called the Battle of Gog and Magog. And, you know, this guy, Aminadab, he's falling right into the prophecy of the Bible. Right into it. As a matter of fact, I emailed him a couple times. And, oh, yeah, right. They won't let you do it anymore, but you used to be able to email the president of Iran. So I emailed them, and they give you a choice of doing it in Farsi or in English. And I quoted the Bible to him and says, you know, you're bucking up the wrong tree. So anyway, I think that's why they stopped allowing that, is because, yeah, I quoted the Bible. I told them what's going to happen. And I said, you know, you people are going to get destroyed if you don't turn away from this. And of course not. Anyway, he's already got his mind he's going to destroy Israel, listening to me and Bible prophecy. But anyway, I thought it was something fun to do, was to email the guy. Anyway, so these people, Meshech, they believe, is where Moscow is today. That's where the term Moscow comes from. Okay, and when it says Rosh, the chief of whatever in here, the word Rosh means the first, or the chief, or the prince of Meshech. But they also believe that it's a play on words, which happens quite often in the Bible, of Russia. So Russia, Meshech, Moscow. So they believe that this is part of the people that are going to come from the far north, along with all these other people. And we're going to read some of their names here in a minute. In verse 3, go ahead, verse 3.
The sons of Gomer.
Go ahead. Ashkenaz. Riphath, and Togarmah. Togarmah. So Gomer and Togarmah. These people are mentioned again. Maybe not Gomer, but Togarmah certainly is. The house of Togarmah, it says in Ezekiel 38. Beth Togarmah is going to come along with these people. They believe that's about the area of Turkey. Okay? They know these things. Having traced these people throughout the eons, Gomer, some people have assigned as Germany. I believe, I may be wrong on that. But anyway, these are all people that we know exist and where they migrated to over the years. But these are the same people mentioned as coming against Israel, like I said, probably in the very near future. The way the world is lining up and how quickly things are happening, and I talked about this, it was only, 2 years ago when we started that class, and I said, it is coming soon, and look at how quickly things have fallen. So I really believe we are the generation to see this prophecy coming to true. And why is because of the terminology it uses. These people the land has been long desolate. They've returned to the land. And it says, when I bring them back to the land, these things will happen. Well, now they're back in the land. And it's been about a generation. So I think we are the blessed generation that will see these things happen and maybe even see the return of the Lord. But we can't be dogmatic on it, okay? Can't be dogmatic, but I do believe that. Okay, verse 4, go ahead.
The sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, the Kittim, and the Rodanians. Okay, now just so you know, a lot of Bible versions will say Dodanim, and some will say Rodanim. And the reason why is because this is a resh. Yeah, Dodanim some, and some say Rodanim. It just depends. That's a resh. That's a dalet. That's a D. This is an R. They look very, very similar. And so when people are writing these letters, people make errors, okay? It's either Rodanim or Donanim, whatever. Anyway, so just so you know that is why some will say Rodanim and some will say Dodanim. And there's a lot of words in the Bible that are... do you have to go? You're bailing out on us again? This is the second week in a row. 3 weeks and you're not allowed back in here. Love you. Love you. Anyway, all of these genealogies serve a grand purpose. There's no name in the Bible without a reason. Okay, when we get into Chronicles, when we get into especially 1 and 2 Chronicles, but elsewhere in the Bible, there are genealogies that go on and on and on. And what is happening? I'm going to show you what's happening here real quickly, is that you've got the genealogies in a general sense. You've got Adam, and then you've got Seth, and the people. But once in a while, it'll divert, and it'll give you some names here, and it'll break up. And then you get down to Noah, and it gives his 3 sons, 1, 2, 3. And then it'll say the names of these 3 sons, right, of their children. But they always stick throughout the Bible to one
particular genealogy. Noah through Shem, Shem through his son, and this is the line of the Messiah. And this goes all the way through all of these genealogies, but you do get diversions like the sons of Ishmael, and he gives all the sons of Ishmael, and the reason why is because these are people that still have some role in redemptive history, probably coming against Israel, but this is why they are not of the line of the Messiah. This is why they are the line of the Messiah, and it gives all of these things, and they were very, very careful never to, miss anything. They were very careful in this. Why? It's because it's inspired by the Holy Spirit. But just so you know that this is what's going on. There's one line that you will be able to trace through the entire Bible, and there are other branches that get pushed off to the side, but they're listed for particular reasons, okay? Nothing in the Bible is here by mistake. It is all here for a purpose. Anyway, go ahead.
From these, the maritime peoples spread out into their territories by their clans within their nations, each with its own language.
Okay, now, the languages haven't been established yet, so this isn't saying that chapter 11 is a contradiction where it's the Tower of Babel. This is not saying, this is saying that this is giving an account, and then as with Genesis 2, explaining what happened in Genesis 1, Genesis 11 is going to give us detailed information of why people were scattered and how they spread out about the earth, okay? So if you read some commentaries, we'll say, well, here's an error. This is mentioned after this, okay? Don't worry about that. It's not. It is God giving you a general pan of what's going on and then specifics. So not everything in the book of Genesis is in chronological order. Yes?
Is that the way it usually goes throughout the Bible, where it's the general first and then the specifics after?
Yes. Normally that's the case, is that that's what will be happening. But particularly in Genesis, you're going to see this. But you're going to see it elsewhere. Something specific happens, and then you may see an insert. And you just need to make sure that it's not a contradiction. It's that it is being given for a reason. The book of Kings and the book of Chronicles detail the same people, the same accounts, but quite often this will be different than this. The chronicler had a different purpose than the person that wrote the Kings, okay? And we need to make sure that we don't see these things as errors, but we need to understand why did he write about these things. Some people say, well, he didn't say the things in Chronicles that it says in Kings about King David. King David in Kings says all of his faults. He slept with Bathsheba, he did this, he did that. The chronicler doesn't mention those. And he said, well, this guy, this is after the exile, and he just wants to make it look like all of his people were really great. And no, he assumes that you already know the book of Kings. The way he writes it, he makes the assumption you already know that he did these things. He is writing for a different purpose. So when you read these analyses, especially liberal theologians, just don't read them. Just, ignore people that say, this is a mistake, or this. There are no mistakes in the Bible. It is a purpose that God has ordained for us to know certain things about Him and about what He is doing in human history. That's it. There are no errors in the Bible, I assure you. Anyway, go ahead. Wherever we were, go ahead and 6, okay?
The Hamites, the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Okay,
Mitzrayim is the Hebrew term of Egypt.
Mine says Egypt.
Okay, well that's why. It's because they want you to know that it's Egypt. But Mitzrayim, anytime you see the word Egypt in the Old Testament, the Hebrew word is Mitzrayim. And Im is a plural. It means Egyptians or the people of Egypt, okay? And then Put would be, where is that? I think Put is Ethiopia. No, Cush is Ethiopia. Put would be, I believe, over in Libya, that area over there. Okay, the people over in that area. So you have Cush, Cush is the Ethiopians, Mitzrayim is Egypt, Put would be probably the Libyans, and then you have Canaan, which is the people that settled in the land of Canaan, the Canaanites, okay? So, verse 7, or 8, 7.
The sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah,
Sabta,
Ramah, and Sabteka.
Sabtech.
The sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan.
Dedan. Okay. Now, Sheba is, we know later, the queen of Sheba. That's probably where Yemen is today. You've got Dedan. Anyway, let's go real quickly through it. Unfortunately, I don't have all of these memorized where they are. We could spend a lot of time. Well, I know, but I should do more on this, or at least prepare for this if we're going to talk about it. But anyway, they're names. They're people that are in certain areas. You will see some of these names later in the Bible. Havilah, I knew I had seen that name before. We were talking about this, and I knew that the name Havilah was mentioned somewhere else in the Bible.